The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host of the Power Trading Hour, where there's no bull side, there is no bear side, there's only the right side. And we'll take a look. Anyway, for a very exciting Power Trading Hour, we don't have much movement, up about 4.5 points on the S&P. Cash volume remains incredibly light, at least in comparison to the last 6 months of trading. 2.2 billion shares as we start the show. A little bit better, but of course, a little bit is a tiny bit. And what I mean by that, so it is kind of a very quiet day out here. Very interesting to see the market. I thought probably with the dollar index, it has, 93.55. It is broken below the 93.80 level. This has been kind of the area of activity on the low side. Doesn't look like a lot of action today, though, as it broke at that level. So we'll tend to see, of course, a little action in the gold market. But other than that, kind of a very quiet day. So we will persevere and look for opportunities. Of course, today also is the day that option market makers go delta neutral. Think of it as an arms dealer who sells to both sides, hoping that the war just drags on without a clear winner. And of course, if you know anything about options, it's all about the premiums. The premiums decay at an alarming rate in the next few days, the next 7 trading days starting tomorrow. The idea is to sell the right amount of guns to each side so that the market doesn't go anywhere and you keep all the premiums. Besides M&A, this is one of the biggest areas of money making on Wall Street. And one of the reasons why it is a big deal and an organic reason that can push stocks around for a little bit. But we will talk more about that as the shoe goes on today. As always, we kind of like to meet around this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It does. But let's have just a little bit of history to start the show off.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On today in 1955, Tim Lee, future inventor of the World Wide Web, not a former presidential candidate, is born in London, England. He's the son of 2 designers of the Ferranti Mark I, an early commercial computer that worked with punch cards. But what else does he have going on out here? He has, of course, the World Wide Web. But not only is his birthday today, but he did come out, and I guess maybe it was yesterday, maybe the lead into his birthday, but is talking about redesigning a brand new system for communication that offers privacy and security much above what is available today, and a way to keep the government's filthy little stinky gooey hands off the internet. Of all places, including places that we think may have a problem with human rights. So a very interesting man who had his mother bore him on this day. Also in 1916, another person from the UK, Francis Crick, is born in Northampton, England. In 1953, working with James Watson, he discovers the double helix molecular structure in DNA. Everybody kind of knew about it. They were the first to actually be able to prove it. the building block of life. And of course, about half of what every biotech company now is involved in, and that is either the repair or the manipulation of DNA. There's a very good special from PBS that I'm trying to remember who the narrator was. He was in Jurassic Park and also in July the 4th, Independence Day. Goldblum, that's who it is. I couldn't think of it for a second. It has a great series that runs. It's a couple of years old. I think it came out in 2012, maybe 2013, but runs about 6 series. If you ever wondered about DNA and how it worked, you can find that online. I think it's on YouTube and some other places too. But Jeff Goldblum, always interesting speech patterns with that guy. When we go to the market, a little bit of interesting news from Europe. It is taxes for McDonald's. What comes out is that the Big Mac has made a deal with the Grand Duchy. I just wanted to say that. The only reason this article is out here today. The Grand Duchy, who knows? Anyway, apparently it's Liechtenstein is still run, and Lithuania is still run by monarchs, king, and that's what you call them over there, apparently. But what we found out is that they made a big deal to make sure that all the taxes paid by McDonald's went there, the tiny little European country. But now they're digging into these deals that may not actually be legal under the EU confines. The Commission investigation into McDonald's arrangements with Luxembourg is emerging as an important legal test for Europe and the U.S. The probe turns on whether the Grand Duchy failed to apply its own tax laws and therefore supported the restaurant chain with illegal state aid. And, of course, a little tiny country getting a little bit of money is a lot different than a big company getting some. And I think that's kind of the deal that they made, McDonald's, but it's the way it all works, isn't it? But one of the problems with the EU is you can always find the weakest link in a chain. And, of course, money will stampede a path to its door. But I don't know if that's going to affect McDonald's in the short run. But this is kind of the first real discussion about this. It may become a much bigger issue for McDonald's and their growth in Europe. SocGen, we knew this. In fact, I think we talked about this in 2008. But one of the traders at SocGen was fired and blamed for all the losses in SocGen, Société Générale, which is the French bank. But almost always there is somebody that is a scapegoat at these big companies. And guess what? This guy was. It took a number of years, but he got a payout of more than $511,000. He's getting a lot of back pay beyond that. But they tried to blame him for all the $5.6 billion of losses. Guess what? He had a lot of proof. They knew everything he was doing. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And of course, Petrobras, PBR, begins its sale of the LNG terminals in Rio de Janeiro. Anyway, kind of interesting to see maybe that natural gas may be coming into a lows, and finally these companies, probably at the exact wrong time, start selling things like terminals, supplies, and pipelines. This seems like it happens all the time. Maybe a good sign out here that natural gas has finally made a decent low. We'll see how it goes this summer and things go on. Of course, we've talked a great deal about credit cards. I think maybe 6 months ago we talked about how the credit cards were as easily breakable as the cards we had before, the ones that didn't have the chip. This has made a lot of these companies that make the machines that read those chip-in card readers for Visa and MasterCard not to go very smoothly. Of course, Pay, P-A-Y, the subpar results combined with the CEO comments apparently prompted a number of analysts to downgrade Verifone's stock on Wednesday. Shares plummeted by nearly 30%, and it was around $20 on high volume trading in the morning. They're blaming pricing pressure in Asia and delays in implementing chip card technology in the U.S., which continues to move incredibly slowly, and no one's really adopting all these kind of new credit card type technologies. Not Visa, MasterCard, not Walmart. There's a handful of these companies that are actually doing this kind of stuff, but man, there is one thing, and that is retailers are not making a lot of money. And since they are not making a lot of money, they don't want to spend a lot of money, whether it's Apple Pay or any of the other things that have kind of come and gone by the wayside. Visa Verifone's stock is no different than before, but certainly the price is much lower. There's just this whole idea that you're going to go into a financial marketplace and change everybody overnight for devices that cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000. It's just incredibly expensive to buy these things, especially if you have a big outfit like Walmart. Just imagine if you've got 200 of those or 100 of those in every location at $500 a piece. They look at that as profit going right out the door. It doesn't make them much or any more information, but certainly could put a big hit on a quarter. And Verifone's stock is suffering because of it. I don't see anything that really changes. Again, there's some of these kind of sectors that only move when the government steps in and says, you got to do it. I don't really hear any outcry yet, so I don't know if there is any kind. It's going to either take some big lawsuits or some other things to really get people and force them to buy these new chip-in card readers. But not much happening so far on that front. Anyway, we're going to go to charts early. Take a look at some of the ones that have been moving out here, although a great deal are not, as shown by the fairly light volume and movement up 5 points in the S&P cash. Verifone, of course, when we look at this, just tells you everything looking at the chart. It has blown through the previous low that had 1.4 million on 29 million shares already. It has bounced a little bit of that sub 20 price earlier in the day, but it's very hard for me to see that anything changes across the summer. Almost every business that is reported in the last couple quarters has done one thing, and that is try to get rid of any expense that it can. And if it can put off buying Verifone or anybody else's chip-in card readers, they are going to. And, of course, a horrible business, retail to begin with, much less one where you're asking for money that they think that they can put off yet to another day. But what else? Got a lot of stocks that are continuing to move higher a little bit every day, and wanted to go back and revisit some of these. They haven't made a close below that 9-day moving average. Albemarle, ALB on the symbol on this one, doesn't have a lot of volume, but man, this thing has continued to close above this 9-day. Even if we go back to, what is it, the 12th of February, not a whole lot, but man, it's almost doubled in price out here. And just continues to go up a bit more every day. Mercado Libre, the South American pay company, also moving slightly higher. Probably a lot of people thinking that the big deal on this is going to be the Olympics. That still seems to be something kind of up in the air, doesn't it? But another one of these stocks that's not gone up a little, just gone up a little bit every single day. Today, it's kind of coming back down. Normally, what you find out is these things, though, the first time they show a weakness below any kind of ballistic move, the bottom can fall out rather quickly, as this might. MELI is the symbol on that one. Other stocks coming up and just seeming to go higher. Primerica, PRI. This one, of course, just a little bit more each day. Up today on very light volume, but this one goes back to pretty much the 5th of May that it's been above its 9-day moving average. These are the ones that are probably have the most snapback potential if the market does start to pull back, which we don't have any big signal of it just yet. Qualsys, another one that's been going up. This one pretty much since the 6th of May. So we've had over a month of just higher and higher prices in this. A little bit more. It got to 32.65. A little pullback today, but again, not a lot of volume. Quad, QUAD. This one, man, every time you think it's about ready to give up, this thing's been on a tear since it started moving higher back on the 26th of January. It's had a few times where it's gone below the 9-day. In fact, one just before earnings, everybody was fairly bearish, and it went just the other way. Quad graphics is the symbol on this one. But some of these, this one, is there a good chance that it comes back and fills this big gap around 13 bucks? I think it is. I'm not a big fan of shorting stocks below 30 bucks, but this would be very interesting. If this one has any kind of pullback, it could see a rather large downside. Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers, RBA, another one that's been on a tear since $22.32, even lower. February 26th, this thing really was the last major low in this thing. So we've been in this for a while in an uptrend without really any significant pullbacks. Again, today, higher. Volume looks like it's probably going to come in a little higher than it had been, but still a handful of stocks. When we come back, we'll look at a few more. Retrofin, another one that's been pulling up. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back in a market that's gone up a whole another 1.5 in the last 10 minutes. 2,119 on the S&P cash volume is come to a stop at 2.36 billion shares. So volume very light as we approach these shares. Wanted to go through a few more of these stocks that seem to be stuck in an uptrend. Retrofin has been on its high, moving higher since the 4th of May. Probably the most interesting thing is that it's a little lower than it's open right now, but volume extremely light. And what else do we have out here? Redwood Trust Incorporated, another one's been pretty much going higher since the 6th of May, so 30 days higher. And some of these are starting to see their first little pullback. My guess is any market pullbacks will probably coincide with weakness in these particular stocks. Sanmina has been in another one since its earnings date. It popped above its 9-day moving average. It's pretty much come back down a little bit in the 29th of April, but since then, it's one of these things where it's pretty much 2 steps forward and maybe 1 step back since then. Pretty convincingly going higher. What you don't have today, though, is any kind of volume. Very, very light. So we want to watch that one before the close today. Another one that you don't really think of as just going higher and higher is T-Mobile. T-Mobile has pretty much gone higher since the 9th of May. A nice uptrend out here, but light volume doji, and that is always troublesome in a up market. So we want to watch how this one trades tomorrow. Tutor Perini Corporation, TPC, another one that had decent earnings news and has done nothing but go higher since then. This one had the sign of strength. What has not had, or a lot of these have not had, is any kind of pullback to the original line that would give us an opportunity to come in. So a handful of stocks up there that are rolling higher each day. Question is, how high do you go before you get any form of retest? Let's see some others. I wanted to see how XOP worked out today. The reason why is the incredibly light energy that we saw yesterday as this came in to its previous high. What we see is the 21 million share high on April 28th, 37.31. It's gone above it today. Whether it closes below it is going to be a big deal. We're kind of right at that same level now. 12.8 million shares, though. So my guess is we will not get the kind of volume that we had on April 25th for the oil and gas ETF, which might be telling out here. This $50, $51 area is going to be probably some tough sledding for crude to go higher. Certainly most of the stocks around that energy sector are kind of showing that they're getting close to at least running out of any additional gasoline in the tank. But you want to kind of keep an eye on that. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. Okay. What else do we have? Okay. Excel Energy. We were talking about these energy stocks not having a lot of juice. Excel has been bouncing off this $42 range for a while. It did it on April 4th, came into that candle on May 12th with a little more volume, so you knew it's going to get at least a retest, but came into it with 2.6 million shares on June 3rd. It's kind of been going sideways, very light volume today. So a lot of these stocks, pretty much what I'm watching as we go into the close. Want to see how VMware acts. And as you know, if you've listened to the show for a while, I like these to come back up and fill about half of any existing gap to give me a good idea where the top may be in these stocks if I am thinking bearish. VMware basically did that today, got to 65.31 with 2.4 million shares, and that is compared to its down day on the 21st of October with 21 million shares. Tried to get into it again on December 3rd with 4.6 million shares. 2.4 million shares is not a rousing endorsement, but in a light market, you got to like anything that goes higher. Treasury shares, want to see how these things were working out here. TMV on the Bear 3X shares. The 1935 is kind of the level that you wanted to see how these things broached. That was the February 11th of 2016 low. 1935 and 1.3 million shares. 1.1 million shares, which is awful tough to figure out on the 3rd. But as we come back in here today, very light volume, which is less than 500,000 shares so far today. So the bond market may be getting ready for some kind of signal. When we look at the SSO, another one of these ETFs, it's pretty much gone through and eclipsed the previous high today of November 3rd. That was $67.68 with 2.6 million shares. And, you know, we're in here today with less than 1 million so far. Going to watch this one very closely also. That just seems like why there's been some decent energy up in some of these things. They are looking like they're getting very tired at these levels. Sony, a little bit more of a gap up, but very interesting to see this gap higher on lighter volume. It went through its April 30th high 2 days ago on half the volume. Yesterday we had 774,000. Today, let's call it 600,000 so far. But again, you want to be looking at this high volume day going back to April 20th with 2.3 million shares. What is that? 2.3 million shares. That kind of set the high. That was actually on the 12th of April. Other stocks of interest out here. Packaging Corporation of America. Wanted to see how this has come into this congestion zone that ran from October 9th last year into December 1st. You had a bunch of highs right at the $70 mark or just a hair underneath. And, of course, down to $44.32 not that long ago on February 19th, back up to $71.31 today. Of course, packaging is a great canary in the coal mine for the market. People are buying packaging, then that probably means that industrial production is at least good or getting better. But very light volume over a number of days. And as we get back up here, you probably wanted to see something like the 2.5 million shares. And in the last few days, about 1 million and about 750,000 shares so far today. So we're going to continue to take a look at those. When we come back, Parker Hannifin Corporation, we'll look at this one. Looks like a light volume top to me and others. But plenty of time to give me a call. 877-927-6648 and some others.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we want to take a quick look at Parker Hannifin, another one of these stocks, testing light volume. This one actually pierced it today also and pulled back into the trading range. 117.24 on April 27th, 2.2 million shares. Yesterday, 800,000 shares. Today, 300,000 shares. But, went in and clipsed and did what Wyckoff called proving the point, went above it, closed back below it, and didn't have the energy. A valid sell signal on that one. NCR, another one up here back to its supply line. This gap down on the the 25th of June last year with 6.7 million shares. Tried to get into it again at 31.75 on April 27th with 2.4 million shares. Even a wimpier attempt today at 1 million shares yesterday. Light volume out here today, but again, maybe not pulling back, but boy, there are a lot of stocks out here that are just giving some signals that maybe the best is in. Mass Tech, MTZ, 1.3 million shares on April 28th, $23.88. Kind of fooled around the last 3 days, though. 600,000 shares, 590,000 shares yesterday. Today, 800,000 shares, but probably still going to be come in short for that April 28th high. But a little doji out here today, maybe a pullback tomorrow also would give a sell signal if the continued light volume persists. KCG Holdings, KCG is the symbol on this one. Another one that's had some light volume, a little bit of a pullback, kind of coming up today. But again, the light volume, April 27th, $14.20, 1.2 million shares to the high that it saw on June 1st. With 830,000 shares, so significantly lighter volume up at the top. It did have a nice little bounce, but not what I would call a sign of strength. The first thing it does is gap up with a doji on the 21st of April, comes back in there, at least comes back and gives a test or kind of a test to this gap up on May 10th, starts coming back up. But again, there hasn't been a lot of fanfare or pomp or circumstance in that one. The U.S. Home and Construction Index, another one up here testing its highs so far. Volume looks to be a kind of wimpy. April 21st, $28.10, 6.2 million shares. Yesterday we had 3.7 million shares. Today, 4.1 million shares, but I think it's still going to come in light of that April 21st, but a good one to check at the end of the show. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can also email me at path@tfnn.com. IBM been testing its highs for a couple of days. This is the April 4th high, 153.52, 6.7 million shares. Came into it with at most 5.8, but just kind of been going sideways for a while. Very light volume out here today. And of course, light volume and a significant sign of weakness would probably say that we're back in the trading range. But that April 4th high is what we're keying off of now. You kind of went up with some decent volume back on the 25th of May. Since then, it's been incredibly light and sideways action in that particular equity. Energy ETF on the bear side has been going through its April 28th low, $15.62, 4.1 million shares. So we pierced it yesterday with 2.3 million shares. Went lower today with 2.4 million so far today. But as long as you stay, let's say 3.5 million shares before the end of the day, you get back above 1562. That sets kind of a bottom in that energy bear market. Mack-Cali Realty Corporation, CLI, has come back, touched its high, but just kind of gone sideways, very light volume. May 16th saw 1.3 million shares at 26.53. We pierced it, but with only 450,000 shares on June 3rd. In the last 3 days, 411,000 shares, 452,000 shares. Today, 410,000 shares. So maybe slightly more volume, but nothing approaching the 1.3 million shares we saw associated with that 26.53 high. Let's see what else do we have out here to wrap this part up. Cardtronics, another one up here with a light volume. Wanted to see some kind of sign of strength as it broke its May 2nd high, $40.63. Of course, we've gotten 500,000 shares, so it's not as light as some others, but very tepid approaches to these previous highs out here. Makes it continuingly hard to see how some of these have done. Let's take a couple of looks at the ones from last week and how they've come back to previous highs. Allogene Public Limited, ALLE, been going after these highs in the $67, $68 range. That 1.3 million, 1.8 million shares. You want something kind of like that. A non-sign of strength today with 400,000 shares as it pierces those previous highs out here. So again, some of these stocks are going to need a great deal of volume to hold these previous highs as we look at them in the near future. NVIDIA, wanted to see how this one was looking. Of course, this one could be in trouble finally. Ideally, you would want this to pull back into about the $37 range to buy it. Any close below the 9-day, which we're basically looking at right here, would be problematic in NVIDIA. Setting up your retrace, which you'd get if you weren't, of course, long it, and of course, probably thinking about selling it if you were long here. You'd want something like $37 set up on it. Could it kind of go sideways for a little while? It certainly could, but looking like maybe one of the weaker of these stocks that's been in an uptrend, or a severe uptrend, maybe best way to actually say. What else is going on here? Take a look at some other ones out here. ProShares short Russell 2000 RWM. This had been coming into this low of December 2nd. That had 820,000 shares, $58.76. Want to see how it had come in. 900, let's call it 1 million shares yesterday. So it has broken the lows with heavier volume. Today, 400,000 shares though. And like I said, you probably would have thought that you got 1.5 million shares breaking that December 2nd low, and really not. and not a lot of fanfare either on the upside or the downside. You also have one more major low, which is the June 24th low of 2015, $56.20, which is probably what this thing's actually going to go after. Question is whether you're going to continue to get there on much lighter volume. But look for that low. What is it? June 24th of 2015 on the RWM on that. Got a few more to look at before the end of the day. Plenty of time to give me a call at 877-927-6648 or send an email at path@tfnn.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And let's take a look at NVRO, he said. Very interesting. The January 11th spike out here, $72.51, 1.1 million shares. We already have 1.4 million shares. So while most of these stocks, probably 90%, seem to be breaching the previous highs in lighter volume, you do have a sign of strength as you break a previous high. In this one, they are a medical device maker that sells a neurostimulator for spines and mostly for chronic illnesses and that kind of stuff. So still kind of interesting out here. Got a couple of emails, so I want to get to those before the end of the program. We got 3.5 minutes left. Thanks, Ron, from, he didn't say where, Lutz. Wanted to take a look at Microsoft MSFT. Again, this thing just kind of came back up to the gap down and it's kind of been working its way. I can't say that there's a lot unless there's some kind of news that I don't see coming that says that this is just in this lower trading range from the April 29th low at 49.35 back up to this $53 level. We've already tested the bottom of that gap. I think you're going to just need some consolidation and some much bigger news to come out here and get that. Let's take a look at Intel also and just see. Same kind of thing. I mean, you've had some gaps down. These things look like they're in more trading ranges. Not a lot of volume yesterday. Less than 20 million shares yesterday. Today, 7.6 million shares. As I said, there just isn't a lot of impotence to go higher. We are starting to look, and I'll be discussing it. But, of course, we're real big on options in the power trading hour. And, of course, what options can tell us about expiration. So far, or at least up to today, options point to a lower expiration a week from Friday. But that can change on a day like this. There's normally a lot more volatility in a market going into expiration, but it's been very quiet so far for both the options and, of course, the market itself. You know, we're up a few points, but certainly not the kind of volume that makes you think that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. 2.5 billion shares as we get ready here in the last couple of minutes of the show. Pretty much looks like we'll have maybe 3.2 billion shares, maybe 3.3 billion shares on the day. Looking for something around 4.8 to 5.2 billion shares would be about the perfect amount to break these highs with and tell us that we have much higher highs coming in the future. But a dearth of volume. And as we spoke last week, kind of the doldrums. Can you get some movement? Yeah, but man, even 8 points out here is hard to come by. Most of it tends to be people sitting on short positions and slowly getting squeezed out. There aren't a lot of squeezes that are, big movers intraday. A good sign that a top is in. But at the same time, we haven't had a lot of these kind of whippy days that signal that the market is ready to crack either. So tonight's going to be a late night for me. Starting about 8 o'clock, I'll get all my data for options, start doing my work, and we'll start looking for a couple of moves like we saw last time, which was we were looking for a bullish expiration. So we went with Netflix last time. Got under 90, we started buying the calls. But we'll see. I think we're going to make some money, but it's going to be kind of a hard nut to crack this expiration cycle. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.